Falcons bringing in Raheem Morris, former PFF Zach Robinson. You guys are going to hear that too much. I'm sorry. Calling the plays now. First order of business in Atlanta, though, figuring out the quarterback situation.
Yeah. Figuring out who it's going to be. So where are you going? Who's your quarterback? What's your solution?
Well, we're going to try to make the pitch to Kirk.
You're making the pitch to Kirk.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a funny world that we live in, right? The guy that some teams want to move on from, but other teams see as like the key to moving forward as an organization.
Yeah, and it's always a contract thing as well. Like, it's never just the player in isolation. It's always contract, money, whatever else.
Yeah.
Like, the current reports are that the line in the sand that the Vikings have finally drawn with Kirk Cousins is we're no longer doing the fully guaranteed deal that has been the Kirk Cousins hallmark for his career at this point. Like, I just want fully guaranteed money. And the Vikings have been, okay, we can do that for 3 years at a time. We just keep re-upping it. Now they're like, nope, not doing it. You're 35, you're coming off an Achilles injury, can't do it, can't risk that kind of money. So it seems fairly clear now then, if somebody wants Kirk Cousins, there's a very simple way of getting it done, which is to say, we'll give you the 3-year fully guaranteed contract, and okay, that might come back to bite us. Maybe we want to get 2 years out of you. Maybe we want to get 1. But that's the way of getting him. If you want Kirk Cousins, I think a fairly simple way of doing that would be to offer him 3 years fully guaranteed, the way the Vikings have been happy to do for a couple of go-rounds.
Breaking news as we record here on a Friday. Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports, former colleague.
Breaking days ago.
The 2024 NFL salary cap is set for a whopping record-breaking $255 million. That's up more than $30 million from last year's cap.
Let's go.
It's fascinating when this happens because every team gets more money to spend, obviously. So it's not like an advantage for one. Every fan base is like, yes, this is an advantage for us. It's like, no, every team gets this. But the advantage really is for teams that have already have contracts. The more players you already have under contract, under the old cap, basically, with the old...
I mean, the worse your salary cap situation was before this happened, the better it looks now, because it's just gone up a ton.
Yeah, I'm just saying, think about, say, Patrick Mahomes deal. How much more of a discount is every other deal currently? So, I mean, it's timely because we're talking about Kirk Cousins. So now when Cousins hits the open market, I mean, dude, business Hall of Fame here. Is he going to get $45 million when normally it should have been $38? All of a sudden it's, we could go to 45. We can go to 48
for
a couple of years.
Yeah, everyone's money's going.
Everything's going to be super inflated for the players that you sign now, and the bargains are the guys that are, that you have under contract who all probably want to be restructured.
Yeah, this is why all those, as no matter what top of the market is, the longer that goes, the better the deal looks. The only way that is not the case is if the player becomes not as good. Like, if you end up signing a guy who then plays badly and you're like, now I'm sad I have him under contract at all. I want to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
But the deal itself, as long as that guy remains playing, always ends up looking good. No top of the market court. Like Dak Prescott, the last time around, we were debating, was he worth $30 million a year, right? And our opinion at the time was no. Now, if they got Dak Prescott for $30 million a year, it would be it would be one of the best value quarterback deals in the NFL. Right? Obviously, guys like Brock Purdy, but veteran contracts. The price now is double that. We're talking, is he $60 million a year? And the answer is going to be the same, no. But then in 3 years' time, we're going to be back where we started and be like, $60 million looks like a bargain. So, yeah, Kirk Cousins, it's going to be a high amount of money. It's still going to be worth it if Kirk Cousins remains playing like Kirk Cousins.
I mean, I think I might try to play in the NFL now that the cap's higher. We should just do that. There's more money to be spent.
Yeah.
It's like the people that only play the lottery when it gets over $1 billion. $200 million. I'm not going to go play, but it's over $1 billion now. Got to go.
Yeah.
Got to go play.
Now it's worth it.
Anyway, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. I mean, I would make a pitch for Cousins. Let's say that fails.
Let's say it fails.
I mean, do you think we'll do it? Do you think we'll get it done?
I think given the reason that Kirk Cousins now it seems to be at an impasse with the Vikings, it now makes it very easy for a team who wants Kirk Cousins to get Kirk Cousins. So if the Falcons want Kirk Cousins, they get Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, because part of the equation there for me is Kirk and all the money, and I get to keep my pick at 8. right? I get to keep that draft pick.
Yeah.
And all of these conversations that we're having about the receivers and finding an impact player there, I get to choose one of them, right? I've got I have 8. I have 4 picks in the top 80. So having the quarterback locked up, now I'm looking at, give me that second receiver, man. Give me that Drake London, Kyle Pitts complement, Bijan Robinson. For Kirk to work, you need to have playmakers everywhere. So give me one of those top receivers, plus Drake London, plus Kyle Pitts, plus Bijan, Algier. Pretty good offensive line. My one question about the offensive line is they've been much better from a run game perspective than they are in pass protection. In a run-heavy offense with Arthur Smith somewhat protected by play action, misdirection, and run game heavy. Arthur Smith's addition there, kind of coincided with Caleb McGarry playing better. But again, from like a run game perspective, is this? It's an on paper good PFF offensive line. Does that translate to Zach's system, more of a Rams-ish type of system where they're going to be on an island a little bit more in pass pro? That's one of the questions I have.
Very big change in system, scheme. That's going to be a significant change. We've gotten Kirk Cousins. We have a quarterback. Kirk's the guy. We're now left with pick number 8 overall. If we get Kirk Cousins, we're probably not significant players in free agency outside of that, even with the new salary cap and money going up, etc. We second or third tier. We still tinker around the edges, but that's the majority of our spending done. So we're into the draft with number 8 overall. You are targeting wide receiver 2.
If one of the top guys is there, if Neighbors or Adunze is there, I would do it.
Okay. Because the other option is we basically still have no edge rushers.
That was the other thing I was going to say. If one of those top receivers isn't there, flipping to the defensive side here, I'm a Latu or Verse guy. I would be fine taking them in the top 10. And could absolutely. I think the Falcons' defense was very good last year, especially relative to the personnel. I think they've made some nice moves over there, but yeah, there's definitely a need for more playmakers.
One of the most popular picks for them is Dallas Turner at 8, and I still just don't see it with Dallas Turner.
I'm not in on Dallas Turner.
Same. But
we'll see what the combine does.
But the flip side of that is we're like all in on Latu, and yet nobody's going to want to put him at 8 overall.
I mean, I would trade down and take Latu.
Trade down.
Yeah, I would love to know. I mean, they're going to have. We got a lot of time to go here, but they'll have feelers like to where he goes, or if he even just passes your medical or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, every time I reference Latu, like the biggest thing on him is always going to be, what does your medical team say? Like, if assuming. My thing with Latu is always assuming everybody is cool with the medical, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't hate one of the corners either. You've got A.J. Terrell. He's heading into his last year. Clark Phillips. They've got Okuda and Trey Flowers both hitting free agency. They could use corner depth.
Sure.
It's a weird spot, though, because I think if one of the top 3 wide receivers is there, I feel great about taking them at 8.
Yeah.
Once you start talking corners or edges, I'd rather take them at 12 to 15. So if there is a move to be made, maybe one of the other QB desperate teams wants to come up to 8 and take somebody. Maybe there is a move to trade down with the Raiders or the Broncos so that they can get their J.J. McCarthy or whatever that ends up looking like. That'd be my hope. I think take one of the receivers or trade down, and then good with an edge, good with one of the corners. Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
If we don't get to draft one of the receivers, what are we going to do? I mean, Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, Mac Hollins, all those guys are free agents. It's the only guys on the depth chart really are Drake London. That's really it.
Yeah. I would move Kyle Pitts to wide receiver.
Just officially?
Yes. I would make him my ex-receiver. I would make him my number 1 guy. I would have Drake London as a number 2. I would draft a complimentary piece lower down, somebody like Xavier Worthy from Texas, like any of those kind of second, third, lower round guys. And then I would go fight a tight end because I think that's probably easier than trying to find a superstar number 1 wide receiver.
Interesting. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Pitts might just be a tight end that moves around and does some stuff. What about Tyler Boyd here?
Yeah.
With Atlanta.
That would make a lot of sense.
To hedge.
Yeah.
Because if you have Tyler Boyd and you still drafted a receiver, like that's fine.
Sure.
But if you were stuck with just Tyler Boyd and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, then that's okay too. But I mean, I want to drop the hammer with multiple playmakers. We're doing some good stuff here in Atlanta. We're doing some good stuff here.
You should send Zach the plan.
I will. I'll send it to him.
Here's what we've done for you.
Here's what we've done. Here's what you guys can do.
You may thank us later.
I need some insight, how much you trust the O-line. That might affect things. I mean, they've got Caleb McGarry locked up for a couple of years. I feel like I still don't completely trust him.
Yeah.
Out there.
They made the decision for you. Like, he's there.
He is there at $11.5 million a year. Had he not been locked up for more than 1 year, I would say tackle would be in play there. But all right, man. Did we fix the Falcons in record time?
Yeah.
We have to give them some more love.
That wasn't that hard.
What else on the defensive side of the ball? I think corner needs help and edge needs help. Those are the biggest ones, right? Calais Campbell hits free agency. Any sort of defensive line depth, everybody needs that.
Linebacker may, but you're going to give guys like Troy Anderson another year to see if he can be the guy, and you just don't know. So, hedging with a developmental prospect in the draft somewhere might make sense. A guy that could either challenge right away or potentially step in next year, just as a hedging of your bets.
Sorry, at what position?
Linebacker.
Oh, linebacker, yeah. I think they're another team that's in that bargain basement edge AJ Epinesa world. Like, bring in. I mean, they need depth pieces and impact pieces as well.
They just need all of the edge rushers, like everything. I don't know that they have a viable edge rusher right now. Like, Lorenzo Carter is their best guy. Arnold Ebiketie is the sort of young guy that they expected to be good, hasn't really taken that step forward. And obviously they put money into guys like Bud Dupree, and we could have told you at the time that was a bad decision. In fact, we did.